Hello YouTubers and welcome to another episode of the vlogs. Today we're talking about grey zone training. So if you don't know what that is a training you do. So say you have an intensity to do for the day, say that is UT2. For those who don't know what UT2 is, it's a sort of steady state pressure that you can do for a long period of time. Heart rate roughly 65% of your maximum. So grey zone training is where, say you're finishing off an erg of UT2, an hour on the erg, and then you head into 70%, 75% heart rate. So it's not quite the next level of training, but it's above sort of that band that you were initially in. So it's the benefits of the grey zone training and the disadvantages of grey zone training. We'll see if we can talk to some of the guys in the club. We've had our first session this morning on the water in this slightly dry weather, a little bit rainy, a little bit foggy, but the water is pretty flat. So we had some UT1s this morning where it's trying to make sure that we don't go too hard, that we're into sort of the AT levels, but we're just above UT2. So you want to stick in the bands of your training so as not to affect other parts of your training, but we'll get into that later and see what the other guys think as well. But after a session like that on the water, you obviously have to fuel up because food is fuel, so let's get to it.
That'll be absolutely priceless. You got a new screen in front of it.
And we've made it into the crew room to fuel up after the session. We've got some delicious breaded egg toast. Ed's got some breaded egg toast. Charles has got some breaded egg toast.
No.
It's just some breaded bacon egg toast. But time to fuel up, and then we're going to get discussing grey zone training. Oh yeah! See you next time, test. Oh yeah! Made it into the crew room after our lovely session in the pair. Once more paddling with George and Harry as well. We've got some delicious food, because remember food is fuel. Some turkey, some gravy, some potatoes and some veg. Great fueling up after the session. So we're going to fuel up now, then we're going to talk a little bit about that grey zone training. Oh yeah! And we've made it outside of the club for another day. Not to finish the video this time, just to talk a little bit about grey zone training. Some of the guys have headed home, so we're just going to discuss a little bit here before weights this afternoon. So grey zone training, like I said, is sort of in the in-between levels of intensity, and it is quite difficult to tell where that is, but really if you know where your, say, UT2 or UT1 levels of intensity are, then you can really know when you're above or below that. And so the issues really with grey zone training is when you have a set program, you have your set intensities, and then you start stepping out of those boundaries, those intensities, and you find it difficult to step on. So say I'm doing UT2, but really I'm in grey zone training, so I'm a little bit above UT2, and then I want to do some UT1, and I step a little bit above that because I'm in grey zone training, and I'm going up in I'm in closer to AT now. And then say I want to step on again, and then I'm really struggling. Where do I step onto? And then finally you get into sort of the flat out pace training. So where do you go? The level seems to just sort of go into a grey zone, into a sort of muddled zone, and there's not really any separation between the intensities, and that's where I think the biggest difficulty of grey zone training is. Sometimes you just want to get that number and hit that split, but it requires a little bit more energy than you would really like it to. So that's when you have to look at yourself, think about what's going on in your body and your mind with the energy you have. Is it time today to step back just a little bit so I can maintain that proper heart rate, maintain that proper energy output, than maybe extend yourself a bit too much, so then say the next day you have pieces or some sprint work and you won't be able to perform that as well because the previous day you've overstepped the intensity. And that is pretty much the biggest thing about grey zone training, is it eats into your recovery, it eats into other parts of the program as well. So you really have to trust the program that you're doing. And even if you question the program, ask the coach, Mr. Coach, why are we doing this today? Why are we doing that tomorrow? And then you can kind of understand the program a little bit better and understand why you do certain workouts at certain times of the year or certain workouts at certain times of the day even. And so when you know that, then you can start to figure out, okay, I understand that, say, today I'm doing lower intensity so that tomorrow I can really fire up the engine to do some higher intensity, rather than thinking, I've got this workout, I'm going to do this flat out, and then tomorrow I'm going to do that flat out, and then at some point you want to step up another gear, and that gear is not going to be there because, one, you're probably going to be under recovered, and two, your body is now used to being in that not necessarily top 6th, 5th gear, whatever gear you have, that top gear, but it's going to be a little bit below that because you're always used to just not having that extra pizzazz. So I think that's my little bit about grey zone training. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I definitely think there are some benefits of pushing on, whether it's in UT2 or UT1, at certain points in a program, and there's definitely different programs, but it really varies on the program itself, whether it's high volume, high intensity, low intensity. I've spoke about intensities for training programs before, and like I said many times, I'm not an official physiologist. This is all sort of my opinion, so take it with a little grain of salt. But if I've hit a nerve or anything, let me know in the comments below what you think. And now it is time for some weights. Oh yeah. Made it outside of Leander Club. Once again, we're under a little bit of shelter because the rain has started. It's been a while since it rained actually, and the weather, as you can tell with the rain, is turning from the beautiful weather we had over the weekend. But now it's time for me to go fuel up after a little bit of weights there. Hopefully enjoyed seeing Robson doing some lifting and packaging up the all-in-ones as well. So we had a little bit of printer ink issues, so we didn't get them out this afternoon, and then we're going to see about getting them out hopefully tomorrow after getting all the ink sorted. Send them out tomorrow. What day is it today? It's Tuesday today. Send them out tomorrow, hopefully, and then hopefully everyone will get theirs. Like I've said before, if you live in the UK, should get them. It will be first class, so between 1 and 2 days. And if you live further afield, it will take longer. There's people from Japan, people from all over Europe, people from the US. It can take up to 2 weeks, and then a little bit more. Even the people in New Zealand as well can take a little bit longer. But sometimes it gets there quick, sometimes it doesn't. We just have to be a little bit patient. But again, the support from the all-in-ones, the support from the Yam Squad, it has been absolutely awesome. And still trying to put out some stuff for the summer as the rain continues to get a bit harder. Bucket hats are being a little bit difficult to source, and the shakers are on their way. Absolutely awesome. And obviously we'll get the tank tops at some point. But another thing, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I'm going to try and do something pretty big for that, but we have to get the Yam Squad to that 10k mark. Unfortunately, YouTube don't do an award of that. That'd be cool to have a Yam Squad award for the 10k mark, but the rain seems to have lightened off. That will be it for today's video. We're on the way to 10k subscribers, which would be an awesome landmark. Like I said, I'm trying to do something bigger than maybe giveaway related, maybe not, but be bigger than the phone anyway, and that went quite well. So, as always, Yam Squad, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas to help get to 10k subscribers, and as always, have a good one.